Sorry, it just rained the other day. Actually, it's been raining kind of like all week. Welcome, maybe welcome back. My name is Tyler from Homegrown Haven Farm, and today I would like to talk to you about what we actually eat from the veggie garden out here. You know, a lot of people get into gardening and they think, I'm gonna grow a bunch of stuff, I'm gonna grow all this to eat. And then they end up growing, you know, a few things, but oftentimes they never actually end up eating anything from their garden. I feel like I'm fencing right now. Avast ye mosquitoes! Yeah, there's a lot of people who garden and end up never really getting anything out of their garden. And I just wanted to sort of talk about that process and our garden, what we grow here, and how we actually use and eat it. Because that's important. That's like the other half of gardening. Like, you have to be able to do something with what you grow. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing that I want to mention is basil. A lot of people get into gardening because of basil. You know, you can get this at the grocery store, and it just has the most fragrant smell to it. You know, just touching it. Oh my God! Now my hands smell excellent. And you know, you can do all kinds of stuff with this. There's medicinal benefits to it, but we mostly use our basil for pasta. I make a lot of pesto whenever I've got it, but we don't just grow regular basil. We also grow specific varieties of basil. This one right here is lime basil. You can tell a slight difference between the leaves. I have a lime basil and then a lemon basil. And, oh my goodness, these mosquitoes are getting on my nerves. I have a lemon basil and a lime basil. And the lime basil has these little spear-shaped leaves as opposed to kind of a spade shape on the lemon basil. But yeah, we use those. We use the regular basil for pesto, and then we also use it to add it to like rice and stuff like that. We use the lime basil for our Spanish dishes because it's just excellent. We also use it for anything that has to do with you know, Thai dishes, that kind of stuff. And over here I've got this lemon basil, which is really good. Pretty much the same thing, just with a kind of a lemon balm mixed in. I'm assuming it's like a lemon balm. I need to cut these vines. But yeah, you can make a regular pesto, of course, but when you add lemon basil to it, like a half and half, like a regular pesto, regular basil and lemon basil, it becomes this super upgraded thing. Like, you start getting these flavors that are like extra pungent, like a tang that I've never had before. It was really something different. Moving away from the basil, we also have these onions here. These onions have been here for about 2 years now. This was an original onion crop that we planted a long time ago, and we've just been snipping the tops off and drying the tops out and using those. Works great. You get the onion flavor without having that, you know, harsh onion texture. Neither me or Lily is a big fan of the crunch of the onion. It's just a bit much for us in a lot of our dishes. But at the same time, you really like have to have it in a lot of senses. Like, you can't get around making a hamburger without onion. Like, it's going to be a weird hamburger if you don't have that. Like, it's just the way it is. Along with the basil, we also have this herb bed in the back here, which is mostly populated by this oregano plant and then a sage bush, kind of. There's some parsley over here that has really just gone to seed. And then there's also, if you look underneath of this, there's actually some, this is German wintertime, which is really excellent, super hardy. You can see it's flowering here. Yeah, it's really pretty whenever it flowers. And there's one of your reasons to have a garden. Yeah, we use the oregano for all kinds of stuff, flavoring rice, flavoring chicken, pasta. You know, it's oregano. You can do all sorts of things with that. The sage, you know, I just don't really know how to use sage properly. What I'm probably going to start doing is pork chops, like pork roast with sage. That's that's just my first thought. I'm not super versed in the use of sage. It's really strong. It's really strong. But we're still going to be growing it and saving it because I can totally see potential use in, you know, candles, medicinal stuff like that. So we just harvested all our potatoes, and that was pretty awesome actually. We grew more this year than ever before, reds and russets, and yeah, I think we're gonna try and just keep doing that. Maybe quadruple on our potatoes. Same with basil, really, but with limited space, you just have to work with what you got until you can expand. But we're looking. We're working. Look at these sunflowers. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? I do love gardening. So I guess I'll move on to the tomatoes here. We don't really use tomatoes fresh in dishes super often. I say that, but we just used them last night in a Greek potato dish. It was pretty damn good. Lemon potatoes with cherry tomato. I mean, I'm just saying. And when you grow these things yourself, these little Jasper cherry tomatoes, they really are sweeter. Like these things are little candy tomatoes in your mouth. Like, they really have a unique flavor to anything that I've tasted before. Like, when you get a tomato at the store, it's so watery. It's so watery. Or like a school tomato or a tomato from like Wendy's. It's just water. Yeah, we actually grow the Jasper tomatoes because they are very prolific, and whenever we use them, we'll either use them fresh in a few things, but for the most part, we will can them. So we're gonna try and grow a mix of Jaspers mixed with more of a beefsteak tomato that we're gonna use for canning, possibly just Romas. I don't know yet. We're still kind of figuring out what's gonna work best for us. And so far, that Jasper tomato is working out.
Do you like tomatoes? You do. You're cute.
So one thing I did want to talk about are the sunflowers. We're growing a lot of sunflowers, and the purpose for which is these bees, which, you know, you can tell that I think it's working. But whenever they're done, whenever the bees are done with them, we end up with this big dead sunflower head, and that's where the seeds are. Now, what I want to do is get a hold of like a seed separator so that we can actually harvest and save sunflower seeds and potentially create sunflower oil. That would be ideal, because not only could we sell that, but that would be very healthy, you know. Just another step along the way. Also, sunflower oil can be used. You can store up sunflower oil and use it like in conjunction with garlic. Make a garlic oil or pepper oil for the garden. So think about that. You're growing every part of that from your garden. Isn't that cool? So obviously the cucumbers, we need to work on our pruning methods and stuff because we're getting a lot of green foliage and not a lot of cucumbers. But that's okay, you know, one step at a time. We grow our cucumbers to basically make them into pickles. But if we have just one or two at a time, then, you know, just last night I made a tzatziki sauce with it. Super good with some chicken. Oh man, dinner was so good last night. Move on to the lettuce here. Obviously, with it being the end of July, we just haven't replaced our lettuce crop. The lettuce in summer becomes extremely bitter, just inedible. Like, not, it doesn't taste good. Unless you like extremely peppery salad. I mean extremely peppery salad. You're not gonna like it. We normally grow beans on our trellis, but for some reason this year, boy, no luck at all with the beans. We don't really know what happened there, but we'll try again. I'll move it on down to the pepper bed here. We're growing a few different types of things. One thing in particular that is kind of different and interesting is the ground cherries. A tomatillo plant, which is this really big one here. We've never grown that before, but we're trying to make a tomatillo salsa, kind of a copycat salsa of Chipotle's hot salsa. It's pretty good, right? But if you look here, we've got jalapenos. And the jalapeno plants is just, you know, Who doesn't like jalapenos? Use them all kinds of places. These are pepperoncinis here. And we're going to be pickling those to try and just make pickled pepperoncini, like pickled peppers. But the main crop that we're really wanting to focus on, and like forever, like we really want to focus on this like for the rest of our lives pretty much, is serranos. Serranos are very similar to jalapenos in a lot of ways. You can see, I mean, you might mistake this for a jalapeno at the store, but a serrano has kind of a more slender look to it, and it's just barely different in flavor. It's kind of hard to describe, but you can see that the serrano plant and the jalapeno plant are pretty different. And while the jalapeno plant is good in producing, we got some crops here, the serrano plant is just much better. It's way more prolific. Not really sure why that is. It just, the serranos grow better here. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. Oh, look! You see the praying mantis? Wow! What a cool specimen there. Oh, I can take the mosquito bites for this minute here. How are you, sir? Apart from the jalapenos, we are also growing habaneros. We're trying to get another crop of Thai hot chilies going, but I don't think it worked out. I think our Thai hot chili seedlings just sort of flopped. So better luck next year, or next crop, basically. You see we got another serrano plant growing back here with the lemon and lime basil, and a couple pepperoncinis there and there. And then this guy's just kind of not doing good. But yeah, the serranos will basically take and pepper, and the serranos will basically take and pickle. Let me get away from this air conditioner. The serranos will basically take and pickle just like the cucumbers, just like the other peppers, and that basically lets us, I'll basically take them and put them into sauces. I'll make like ranch out of them, spicy sauce, stuff like that. That works pretty well. One of the last things I wanted to talk about is squash and zucchini, stuff like that. We don't have room for pumpkins. We've tried to grow them before. Just didn't work out. I did want to show off these plants. We've already gotten several squashes. Of course, I show it off and there's like a rotten one down here. But these plants are kind of old, honestly. So I know I've got some pictures. Oh, here's a good one down there. Okay, so if you look right there, this is called a patty pan squash. It's virtually identical to a yellow squash or a zucchini. It's pretty good. Like, we made some the other night with Parmesan and lemon, and I imagine if you were to put breadcrumbs on that, man, would that be good. You see that little guy in there? Cute little thing. If you didn't notice, we love lemon in this house. We use it on all sorts of stuff. It's a super healthy way to, brighten up flavors without really adding a lot of unhealthy shit. As long as you don't overdo it on the citric acid, lemons are your friend. Of course, I do want to mention the dill here. Oh, look! Sunflower sprouts. The other day we had a little girl over and she just sort of dumped some sunflower sprouts in. Kid, if you're watching, there they are. I did want to point out, this is our dill, which is kind of gone to seed here. We use this for pickling. I mean, pretty much all of our pickling, you need dill in order to do it. So we have a couple dill plants. We also have a lot of dill that we dried from last year. We'll probably get these trimmed up and try and grow some more dill, because I don't know if that's going to be enough. But yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. And that's also another one of those that just has an amazing aroma. Like, you touch it for a second, you're just like, my hand smells like pickles. Now, apart from drying flower heads and trying to save them for, candles and stuff like that, that's essentially how we're using our garden space right now. If we had more space, we would grow more stuff. But that's just the way it is. Eventually, we will have more space, and we will grow more stuff, and we're going to figure out a lot more stuff about pumpkins and, trees and fruits and grapes. I can't wait. I think that's going to do it for this video. I don't think there's anything left. Nah.
Look who woke up from their nap. Hey, Clove. Hey, kid. You okay? Hello. Hi. Give me 5. Hi.
I need to grab the camera, the microphone, so I must grab it. I must grab the microphone. Oh.
Huh? 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 What's going on here? Give me 5. Give me 5. Ah, not the camera. Hello. Hello.
And that is going to do it for my little video here about what we eat and how we eat it. The mosquitoes are getting kind of bad, so I think I'm going to call it quits for today. But I just wanted to thank everybody for watching. My name is Tyler from Homegrown Haven Farm. Don't give up, keep growing, and I will see you all in the next one.